Druid can't beat Uber Lilith. So how do we beat her now? And what do we actually change to make this better? We are playing the Pulverize build that's getting 12 seconds of free overpower, every 16 seconds of free overpower. Then as we use 300 primary resource, another overpower, and also with Blood Boil. And yes, before the fight even starts, we can already charge up our 300 spirit spend overpower. Now let me explain gear, skill aspects, rotations, Paragon board, and give you a live fight walkthrough as well. First, we put on your core skills deal up to 38% increased damage based on your amount of Fortify. This is also why we're actually playing Grizzly Rage over Petrify. Grizzly Rage lasts 12.5 seconds, and I can start this before Lilith even lands and already have half of my HP fortified. Half of my HP fortified gives me straight away another 8% critical strike chance. And also your damage is life plus fortify times overpower damage. Also on top, don't forget to use Debilitating Roar, because that one straight up gives you 22% of your maximum life as fortify as well, on top of what we're already generating. So you can almost top 100% straight away. Now Zangren Brace together with the critical strike potion brings me up to 68%, 70% critical strike chance already. Then we have the fortify with the damage increase and 120% multiplicative damage on our critical strike overpowers. Perfect start. Now the second ring is quite interesting, but it works nice because this increases your maximum spirit by 70 and spirit generation by 20% while Grizzly Rage is active. That allows me with an active Grizzly Rage to pulverize even more. And with the Ancestral Guidance Paragon node, I spend 75 spirit and deal 30% more multiplicative damage. So after using 75 spirit, I have even more spirit. And we're currently already at 156, so it was quite amazing. Technically, you could swap out the Quicksand boots for when you have Fortify, your Earth skills gain +2 ranks as well, because we're not planning to stagger Lilith. We're just planning to deal as much damage as possible. Now as a potion, I used the Elixir of Cruelty with a 15% bonus critical strike chance. So we definitely get these overpower crits. Now, as I said, before the fight starts, before you walk into the middle, you activate Grizzly Rage. Now, that's fantastic. 226 spirit, your Fortify goes up. We dash once, and then boom, boom, boom. Now we can trample to get unstoppable again, dash to get our essence back, spirit, sorry, and have her completely dead. And now we kill everyone at the same time, and she dies. Gotta make sure that she doesn't do her death thingy. And now you wait for your overpowers to get up. That's the interesting part. You're gonna get your 12-second overpower now. You're gonna get your 20-second overpower. You're gonna get your 16-second overpower. You gotta make sure that your Fortify doesn't go too far down. So you use your barrier skill, then you dash. 1, 2, 3, go, 4, done. Ladies and gentlemen, Uber Lilith dead. And now you can pummel up her stagger if you want to. That's what I usually do, because in the final phase she's sometimes a bit weird and summons her weird clone. So I essentially just use my pulverizes to push the stagger up. Why does it push the stagger up so much? That is simply due to the slowing of Earth skills. Now she's literally 1 skill away from being staggered. So in her last moments, we'll just refill our spirit to have as much as possible. Wait for this to break. We can activate area, Grizzly Rage, stagger her, and she's dead. Unnecessary, but fun. The other gear we're running for this is Godslayer Crown. That gives us a 48% multiplier. If we had a 60% here, that would even be better. Also, this is only +20 damage, so there's still a ceiling to go higher. Insatiable Fury is pretty much a max roll. We could only get more armor and more physical damage, so even more damage ceiling. My gloves are terrible, to be honest. They do the Here's in Horror, that's nice. They have overpower damage and critical strike chance, good, but they're lacking the ranks and Pulverize, and that's where strength is in. And ranks and Pulverize makes such a difference simply because the multiplier gets higher. Right now, this is a 95% multiplier for great base damage. With 4 ranks more, it will go up to a 120% multiplier. That's not a little bit of damage increase. That's a huge damage increase. The Patent's T-Bald's Will is fantastic. And you see there's another 8% multiplicative damage increase and another 8% damage plus also possible. So we're hiring this damage ceiling even more. The boots could be the Earth skill damage as we talked about, just to make Lilith even easier to kill and to deal even more maximum damage. For the weapon, you have to choose a little bit between damage to crowd control enemies with plus 52.5, because this crowd control damage hires your multiplier for Earthen Devastation. That being said, this weapon is just so good with overpower damage, intrinsic, overpower damage with werebear skills, all stats and damage to distance. It just does a little bit of everything. It's quite crazy. I'll probably try to get exactly a staff that has these stats. Just haven't found one yet. For the talisman, we talked about the banished lords. You need that 100%. And on the rings, I have overpower damage and critical strike chance, which is fantastic. I'm missing maximum life. As you can see, our maximum life is currently only 15.6. And that's quite low. We are actually missing life on the chest, but we can't get any here. Life on helmet is good. We have no life on pants, but the 40% multiplicative and spirit generation is better. But on the rings, not having at least plus 1,300 plus each is truly costing us, especially that we're getting 20% bonus life because we're in a bear form. Now on the Paragon board, you don't have to change anything for Lilith because you're already getting 16% increased physical damage to non-elites and bosses. We're also having 41.2% vulnerable damage plus, and well, enemies turn even more vulnerable. Then we have the Dominate glyph, which gives us even more overpower and even more damage to Mommy Lilith, followed up by Earth and Sky, which boosts our life here tremendously, our nature magic skill damage, but also you do more multiplicative damage against crowd control or vulnerable enemies. So that works also. And then last but not least, damage while healthy. This does work on top of that. Nothing what we do here does simply not work. Now for the spirit boons. Against Lilith, I've been running bonus critical strike chance, but I have already like 68%. So here we might be better with a plus 30% damage. Not bad, squeezing out a little bit. Also, the reduced damage from elites doesn't really make sense versus her. You might as well just squeeze out another 10 spirit just to do one more slam in the beginning, as we already have huge amounts of spirit happening. Lastly, in the snake department, there is nothing to do because every 20th skill will cause your next earth skill to overpower. It doesn't do anything here. Dealing lightning damage, we don't do lightning damage. Healing with critical strikes, what for? And last but not least, nature magic skills have up to a 10% chance to reduce cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds. We don't need a single one of them for the fight. Oh, with the skills, there is something to change though. First, don't forget that critical strikes against close enemies is increased by 6%. So stand close to Lilith for even more. We could take 2 ranks out of Safeguard and we could slam them into Resonance. Now, that's not much. Nature magic skills deal 4% increased damage. Triple this bonus if an Earth skill is the next skill played after a Storm skill. That we don't have Storm skills running, but our Pulverize is currently nature magic. So we might as well get another simple 4% multiplier. It's not much, but we fortify more than enough right now. And against Lilith, we also don't take damage that breaks our fortify, and the Grizzly Rage essentially keeps us fortified the whole time. Why not squeeze out bonus damage? Druids, gather in the comments below and tell me how fast you actually kill her now. Also for our werewolf friends, is it going even faster for you? Now if you're looking for a full breakdown for this build, also for dungeon pushing, there's the video for you, because the build is quite different.